So many people I talk to say they just cannot catch a fish on a crankbait. I know exactly why you don't catch fish on crankbaits. There's basically, I'm gonna say there's 3 major mistakes. There's probably 10 mistakes that I see very often. But I guarantee you, if you don't like fishing a crankbait, I bet you make these 3 mistakes. This is one of the easiest baits there is to fish. There's no reason for nobody, no matter where you live, no matter if you fish for smallmouth, spotted bass, largemouth, you can catch fish on a crankbait. You just gotta make sure you follow these 3 guidelines when you're looking for places to go, when you're using your gear, and when you're actually retrieving the bait back to the boat. There's only really 3 things that you gotta pay attention. This is the mistake that I see, number 1, all right? So many people don't throw the crankbait into things. They take the crankbait and they just throw it out in the middle of the abyss. You can't do that and catch fish on a crankbait. You have to make sure that you're banging it into things. That's one of the biggest mistakes that I see with people. You gotta run it into the bottom, you gotta run it in the wood. You can't be scared to put it in places where it might snag. You can't be scared to throw it in laydowns. You can't be scared to put it around rocks. Bang it up. I know it's expensive. Hard baits are a little bit more pricey than your soft plastics, but you simply cannot be afraid to bang this thing up against whatever it is. Secondly, this is the second mistake I see all the time, and you have to stop it. Too fast of a retrieve. Aimlessly just reeling this thing back to the boat. I'll see people that they'll take the crankbait, they throw that thing out there, and then they get to talking. Man, yeah, my wife, man, she was cutting her toenails in the bed last night, left all them things in there. You're just talking, you just ain't paying attention to what you're supposed to be doing. When you're throwing a crankbait, it takes an extreme amount of focus, hyper focus on what you're feeling. This is a feel bait. The crankbait is a feel bait. When you throw it out there, you make a cast, you should be feeling, okay, it feels like a muddy bottom. All right, I felt it go over lay down. I feel my line kind of swimming over something. I must be getting ready to come up on wood. A couple things. For one, if you'll slow down and actually feel the bait, think about what you're feeling. Think about the feedback the bait is giving you. You're gonna find stuff that you didn't know was there. You're gonna know when to slow down, when to speed up. You're gonna know when you're getting bit better. You're gonna snag less, because when you feel that bait crawling over a rock, over wood, or whatever the case may be, if you have the awareness to just slow your reel down a little bit, that bait will oftentimes just crawl right over it. But if you just bog it down into it, most of the time it's going to hang up. Last one I see so many issues with. I guarantee you're making this, and if you correct it, you're gonna start catching fish on a crankbait. Last one is, I call this boat work, trolling motor work. You don't have the boat in position to even put yourself at an advantage to catch a fish. The boat's just out of position. If I'm going down this bank right now, I don't need to be 50 foot out to the left. I need to have my boat in position that puts me at an advantage to make a very precise cast, so I bring my bait in that strike zone. So with this crankbait that I'm throwing right now, this is a good rule of thumb for you to follow. The crankbait that I'm throwing right now, this is a RC 1.5, which we know gets probably 2.5 foot deep, maybe 3 foot deep, maybe 4 foot deep on a really long cast. For most of my little short casts, probably 2 foot. If I know I'm targeting 4 foot, wouldn't it make sense for me to put my boat at 4 foot and cast directly in front of where the boat is going? That way I know that bait is coming through that strike zone. I'm in 2 foot. If it's possible, put the boat in 2 foot. Bring the boat and cast directly in front of you, not off to the side. Don't make a cast here. Make a cast there along the bait. Don't cast there, cast there. Let me show you again. I cast Most people cast right here. Boop. Bring it back. Your bait's in the strike zone for 5 foot. Cast here. When you cast there, now the bait's coming down the strike zone the entire time you're retrieving it back to the boat. You're increasing your odds of catching fish just by correcting those 3 mistakes. If you want to know more extreme details on what's going to make you a better crankbait fisherman, there's been more tournaments won with this bait right here than anything else. You want to know how to fish these baits? Subscribe to my school. Join sufschool.com. Look at the description box of this video. I have a part 2 of this particular mini workshop on how to fish crankbaits, where I show you exactly the things that you need to look for, the exact retrieves, the exact gear, the exact crankbaits that you want to use so you can catch more fish on crankbaits. It's very easy. In fact, it's not even about the crankbait. It's not about focusing on the color. It's more to do with the gear and the approach to how you fish it. Join my school at sufschool.com. I'll show you how to catch crankbaits. Before you know it, you're gonna love fishing crankbaits.